After dropping my Ben 10 versus Big 3 video, a lot of you have spoke regarding the scaling of Ben, and of course the question of if he can beat the father of the Big 3 did come up. Who's the father of the Big 3, Charlie? I'm talking about Goku, come on now. For this video, rather than going over all of Ben's other aliens like last time and me just repeating what I've already told you before, so you can just go check out that video if you want to know about Ben's other aliens. Today we will be talking about the only alien that honestly stands any chance in taking out Goku, that being Alien X. And in the last video, you guys did hear me say at the end that Alien X does in fact solo Goku. And in this video, you will be finding out as to why I said that. And as I said in the last video, even without Alien X, Ben can potentially reach those beyond infinite levels of power. However, Goku is easily reaching these tiers by the end of Z to even in his base form going into Super. So yes, unfortunately, even with your goats like Ultimate Way Big, Super Saiyan 3 Goku should more than likely get the job done, and at best, they are not getting past base Super Goku. Which is why we are mainly going to be talking about Alien X and only briefly mentioning some scaling in Z, but for the most part, we're going to be talking about the Dragon Ball Super anime. Now, since I already kind of mentioned Goku and where he's at bare minimum, we should just get started with his scaling. Even before entering godhood, Goku already was fighting Kid Buu, who's capable of wiping out the Dragon Ball universe within a finite amount of time. Whether you want to use the anime of him destroying the planet slowly but surely, or the manga with Goku saying he can make the universe go poof, Goku before even gaining his god amp should be a universe buster with infinite speed. The reason for this is because the universe that Kid Buu was going to destroy is infinite in size, meaning he would need infinite speed in order to destroy it within a finite amount of time. We would then see this Goku get even more powerful through attaining the Super Saiyan God form, and even surpassing the likes of Super Vegito, who was able to neg Buhan's attack, who with a temper tantrum was going to collapse the universe. This power, as we know, Goku was able to absorb this into his base form, and then after going to the God form yet again, these two would proceed to clash with each other, and it's stated that the very shockwaves that are being produced by their clashes are capable of wiping out the entire Dragon Ball macrocosm. So not even just the living universe, but also things like the Kai realm, Otherworld, and pretty much everything with it. This is interesting since we know that bare minimum the Dragon Ball macrocosm is 4th dimensional in size, with it even hosting realms that go beyond this dimension. So baseline, this Battle of Gods feat should actually be 5D and not just baseline universal, and as we know, he would go on to absorb this power into his base form. And there is an argument to be made for the God forms being an infinite size multiplier or allow Goku to transcend tiers, but we do know that there definitely is one, and they aren't getting infinitely stronger. We could go off the scaling based off the fact that Goku is able to surpass Zamasu and UI is above a Super Saiyan Blue Spirit Bomb infused Universe 7 attack. There definitely could be a case made for Goku exceeding 5D, but consistently I think this is where he's at. Really, besides Zeno wiping out the future and Goku shaking the world of void, there aren't really any actual feats that put Goku any higher. The Zeno thing isn't even a feat because 1, nobody scales to Zeno, and 2, even if we grant him this feat, it's not really a feat. He has erasure hacks, so this is just hacks. And shaking the world of void that has no time and space and is just nothing, it doesn't mean anything. At best, this is just like Goku having infinite speed and universal attack potency, which even then I don't even think is true, but let's just say that for the sake of the video. This is unironically a worse feat than what Goku showed off at the beginning of Super, so who cares? And so Goku should be capable of wiping out at least multiverses that have 5D constructs within them very casually. If you want to say with the ridiculous power creep of Super and say Goku somehow reached 6D, then you know what, sure. But you're going to see for this video why that doesn't really matter. And also, no, just because Jiren surpassed time and overpowered a time cage that slows him down, it does not mean that Jiren is immeasurable, and no, Goku overpowering time skip doesn't make him immeasurable either. In my opinion, Dragon Ball characters don't really get past infinite speed consistently, and I feel like really the only other versions of Goku that reach this tier are like the video game ones. As far as Goku's hacks goes, besides, you know, being strong, flying, he has ridiculous levels of adaptation and crazy mastery of martial arts. However, I don't know if these in particular are going to be all that reliable against someone like Alien X, but I think the most worthy things to note for this battle is definitely Goku's resistances, as we've seen him resist things like reality warping, erasure hacks, which Alien X can do both of, and if Goku is a lot more powerful than Alien X, then there is definitely a chance he could maybe resist to, or to a degree bypass some of his abilities, giving him a bigger chance to win. Which, I'm not gonna lie, if Goku is able to somehow get around these OP abilities of Alien X, then Yeah, he would just get boxed. However, let's see if he actually could do this. It's time to see if Ben's strongest alien has what it takes to defeat Son Goku. Alien X in his introduction was already established to be an alien both more powerful and more complex than really any of Ben's previous heavy hitters. This is due to Alien X being a celestial sapien, which within the Ben 10 universe are arguably the most powerful species within the multiverse. Even with just part of its DNA, Ben was able to cut through a barrier that the Contumilia described to be impossible to breach. The Contumilia as well have been stated to be inferior to the celestialsapiens, and these are beings who exist within the 5th dimension. Ben is only able to perceive up to the 3rd, so he's not able to see their full forms, but rather a form that Ben has a specific bond to, which is why they appear as Mr. Smoothie.
We are the Contumilia, but our 5th dimensional forms cannot be seen by your eye. It protects us from the upcoming release of energy. It is impossible to breach your...
Baseline, this would mean Alien X just existing would be a 5th dimensional being, which makes sense given that he's literally created a new universe casually, has been confirmed to change the multiverse so much that it affects the art style of the show, and he's been stated to not only survive an entire timeline being destroyed, but also erasing entire timelines himself with just a few thoughts in his head. These are things that he can casually do, by the way, so imagine if Alien X actually fought. Luckily, we get to see this during Omniverse, where Ben straight up negs another celestial sapien, showing that he himself should be further above these 5D beings, since he's stronger than other celestial sapiens. I feel like this is a very decent baseline for Alien X, so you guys get a good gauge at least to where he's at. So now let's talk about the more spicy arguments regarding Alien X that I know a lot of you brought up in the comments. We know that within Ben 10 there are 26 dimensions, with the Nalgians potentially being on this tier themselves. The celestial sapiens would be more powerful than the Nalgians, and if you don't think we could really prove that, that's fine. We do know at the very least within Ben 10 that the multiverse contains 26 dimensions, and there have been multiple threats to said multiverse. And as we just went over, Alien X has been established to being capable of creating and destroying the multiverses within Ben 10, which we do know are infinite in size. This could arguably mean that Alien X is a 26-dimensional being, or in the high hyperversal tier, or basically 19-dimensional tiers above where I had him baseline. The other argument, in my opinion, is a little more shaky, as it's assuming the Contumilia apparently live in a pan-dimensional society, which would mean that they are not bound by dimensions. And as we went over, the celestial sapiens are above the Contumilia, but this is kind of ratty, as the Contumilia are just blatantly stated to be 5D. I personally wouldn't use the argument, but it is there on the table. As for speed, well, Ben bare minimum should be at the very worst infinite speed, since he's creating infinite size universes instantaneously. And he's also destroying infinite-sized multiverses with just his thoughts, so he's more than likely reaching those higher tiers of speed like immeasurable and whatnot. And if we obviously want to say he's boundless, then he would have irrelevant speed. But like I said, I wouldn't personally use the argument. As for his hacks, well, there's really nothing Alien X can't do. I'm not gonna lie, that's not even me glazing, man. This has literally been stated by the writers. He can bend space-time to his will, reality warp anything he essentially wants to. We've seen him show existence erasure, mind control, the ability to create clones and overwhelm his opponent. This dude is ridiculously broken, and the outcome is about what you'd expect. Even disregarding the high tier stuff for Alien X, whether it be the outer or the hyperversal argument, both at the end of the day, both display multiversal levels of power very casually. Goku has gotten a lot more powerful since performing this feat, I mean a ridiculous amount stronger, but has never shown anything ridiculous on this level again in Super. While Ben is not only creating universes just cause, he's destroying multiverses and infinite timelines with a few thoughts. And whether you think Nalgians are 26-dimensional beings or not, it doesn't matter. This confirms that at the very least within Ben 10, the multiverse has 26 dimensions. And so due to Goku being dimensional tiers lower than Alien X, unironically, he can just blink and Goku would never exist. Now, if we think the Dragon Ball universe is boundless by taking statements out of context, or if we use the rat argument we talked about with the pan-dimensional society, then they'd actually be pretty relative and Goku could have a chance. But due to both of them being boundless, I'd say Ben's hacks would still be enough to at least affect Goku, so he can do whatever he feels like for the most part. If he can't blatantly just blink him away, he can just overwhelm him with his clones and Goku can do nothing. And so however way you see it, Alien X does in fact beat Goku. He wipes GT and Super and probably some of your favorite fictional characters. Stay salty, my friends.